up, guys? What's your boy Don Jaws? Welcome back to the last beta video we ever show, but this is actually going to be a little bit different. This is a complete guide for those console players or PC players that play with controllers out there. This is a full, complete guide settings video on the beta for Monster Hunter Wilds and maybe the full game. This will help a lot of players. This video will going to help a lot of players make this game way smoother, way better playing. Way funner time, smooth, the mounting controls on the secret, everything else, type 3 directional inputs, radio menus, slot setups, HUD, UI clutter like people are complaining about. All in this video will be going over every setting in the game. Some settings I might not know too well, but I'm going to show you some demonstrations of what that setting will do and how it will give you a lot more better freedom and control of your gameplay in this game. So I hope you'll enjoy this video. Let's get into it. The first settings you have, of course, is the game settings. First game settings. So first you have damage numbers. Damage numbers, I keep mine to whole values only. You can use decimals if you want. I don't think the setting really matters. Whatever you want to choose, you can not display it. For immersion, you can do whole values, which I use. The second thing, the next setting is going to be the very most important one. It's a lot of those people back earlier or now, they'll always complain about UI clutter, like, oh my god, the health and stamina bar, it's too big, it takes up the whole screen. Well, if you go HUD here, some people think this is not a setting, right? But it is. So press X on the HUD, whatever you're platforming on. As you see a whole list of changes you can do to the HUD. Look at this. You can make the health gauge small size, like the default size for the mall is like this, right? It's pretty big, and people will complain about UI clutter on the screen, like on the stamina bar and gauge bar. It's like, oh my god, I'm going to complain. But here, they actually added settings where you can do that. So, if you do large, if you look at the stamina and health bars now, it's way bigger, and people more likely will complain about that. But what I'll do, go here, for all those complainers out there about UI clutterness, do small. Or you can do it all together and it just says hide, hide. And if you look at your screen, the health bar and stamina bar is not there anymore. So what I use is, of course, is small. If you look at the small version, like let's look at the default version. The default version is that, right? So, oh, people will complain, right? But if you change it to small, like I've been using, you will see, look at the health and stamina bar now. Look how small it is. It's way less cluttered into the screen. So all the people that complain out there about the health and stamina gauge, you can make it way smaller. It's a way noticeable difference. So please stop complaining about that. There is actually a setting you can change. But that's not even it. You can change everything in the HUD. So let's just say I don't want to hide everything. I want to hide this. I want to hide that. I want to hide this. I want to hide that. I want to hide this. You can change everything about your HUD and people will just complain about it. I don't know why. And you can pretty much hide every setting in your HUD. And if you look at the HUD now, everything is gone in this HUD. Look at this. There's nothing on the HUD. So people are complaining about UI clutterness. You can change your UI. You can make it smaller, make it larger, whatever you want. So just press HUD right here and you'll see all these settings you can change to interact with those characters. Radio menu, slinger display, button guides. When you know your weapon, you can turn that off. You know, target monster or objectives, you know what objectives you can do. Turn that off. It's like, it's common. They wouldn't do that to us. This is Capcom. This is the main Monster Hunter World team. They know what they're doing. They made Monster Hunter World one of the best games of all time. So, for my health stamina gauge, I keep it at small because it'll help me reduce that clutterness of that gauge on the screen. Melee weapon, I actually have it on large so I can actually really see my sharpness while fighting the monster. Weapon information means like the weapon spirit gauge, like long sword, stuff like that. I have it on large so I can see it way better, and I'll be able to really tell what's gauges I'm at with my weapon and all that. Party info you can hide if you're soloing the game. If you're soloing the game when it comes out, you really don't need this on because you're going to be your palicos. health bar and stuff, but I keep mine on default, just regular. But or you can make it small actually if you want. If you look at Tino's health bar there, it's very small in there. And if you look at the regular size, and sorry, this is going to be a long video. This is a complete session, guys, for whiles, and I'll put a lot of things in the description or the comments of all the timestamps you really want to go to. All right, as you see, you can, and the default size of party info is a little small, but I'm actually going to keep the party info at small. For now, this will reduce the clutter on the screen. Scout flight announcements, I keep that at default. Minimap, I always keep that at default. Environmental clock, I keep that at default. You can turn that off if you really want. Reduce the clutterness. Target monster on the bottom left icon. Of course, I have this on default. Button guy, if you once you know your weapon, you can turn this off to hide. But right now, you keep it at default because you don't know the weapons that much. Objectives, you could turn this off if you want, if you know what you're doing, but I like to keep mine at default. Chat, keep it at default. Slinger, I keep that at default, but as you see, the default slinger icon, I need to get some here, give me a minute. As you see, it's very just default. If you turn it off to small, it's actually way smaller on your screen, so it reduces that clutterness on the screen. I might keep mine on small as well because slinger display really doesn't matter because I can still see it because I have a 120 hertz monitor. Now, for the item bar, I like to keep this at default. I like to see my item bar. Animals and coatings, I like to keep it at default. Radial menu, I keep that at default. If it's too small, you're not going to see a lot of things. If it's too big, it's just clutters the screen. And you can change it. These are default. So UI complain clutters. If you're complaining about the UI in this game, there's really no reason to nitpick the UI in this game about the clutterness, about the health and stamina gauge, because you can literally change all these settings in your HUD to the way you like it. So there you go. The next one is minimap size. This changes the minimap depending on what buttons you press or what situations you're in. So the difference between these two is it shows the size. Like if I hold L1, look at the size on the map. It gets a lot bigger when I hold L1. It's like Monster Hunter World where you hold L1. But if you change it to small while you're holding L1 with the size, look how small that map gets. So I like to keep mine on large for holding L1, just like Monster Hunter World, so I can see things, especially when I'm on my secret. Combat monsters, I keep it on default. Talent areas, I keep it on default. Focus mode, I'll always like to keep it on small, so I can be focused instead of not looking at the map. I like to keep it on default for larger monsters just because I can see slinger ammo and vigor mantle bugs and stuff all over the map. Because if you keep it as small during combat, you might not see a vigor mantle bug nearby or something like that. So the scale is actually, if I look at default, if you look at my character, it's actually medium-sized map, as you see. But if I change the scale to large, as you see, the map gets bigger, but it zooms into my character and the map a lot more. It zooms into my character and my map a lot more, as you see right here. So I like to keep mine on large. Same thing, pretty much the same as the others. When I'm running my secret, I can see it. Minimap rotation, I keep it on rotating, but you don't have to have it. These are both preference. Keep it on default. The second of the game settings, of course, I keep mine. You can put it to fix. Fix means it just keeps it steady. Pretty much, it just stays on the screen. But I like to keep mine on dynamic, just so I won't have to see it too much. Sharpness gauge, you can do sharpness, many. Everything else, cutscenes, subtitles, everything, all these are just, it's up to your preference if you want how big they are for the cutscenes and all that. Closed captions, I do not display. Ally hit, critical hits, this is for like your other players and your display. And sometimes we probably do not display here because you want us to see your own damage numbers. I'm pretty sure, I think it's for support hunters, but I don't think so. Blood effects, this game has blood effects now, so you'll be able to So in Monster Hunter World, there was no blood effects. This game has them now, so thank God for that. Three of the game settings: weapon visibility, I have it on show. Head armor visibility had hide in there during cutscenes, so I can see my character's face a lot more during cutscenes, and make sure a mask doesn't cover his whole face. Uh, Upskirt Hunter, this is pretty much silhouette from Monster Hunter World. When you're fighting a big monster, if you go around a monster's like body, you won't see yourself, so it'll display a silhouette. White outline, I didn't do that. I did the red outline. You can do the blue. I think the blue and red are probably the best two. You could do yellow too, but I like to have it on the red. Hide other players' secret. This is a personal thing, but I keep it on because I don't like seeing too many secrets on my screen when I'm fighting the monster. It's just very weird, so I keep that on. Secret Auto Explorer, I had this off. I do not want my secret just running around everywhere. I like to keep control of my own secret. Support Hunter settings. Damage display, actually will turn this off. I don't really see my support hunters. If you have like 4 support hunters in a hunt, there's so much damage numbers going on the screen, you don't even know which ones are yours really. So I like to actually just like to turn that off, keep that off. It's like Monster Hunter Rise with the followers, so you do not want. I just don't want this on. So it's personal preference. I keep these all on for now. You can turn off certain things you support hunters do. Support hunters are pretty much the AI hunters that come into your game. If you want to call the SOS flare, if people don't join, you can also set your SOS flare still like really want players, or you just want both support hunters or players, or you just want only support hunters. So AI players. I think I want to have it on one. It's pretty much the regular world version, so I keep it. Chat level, I'll leave it open. If you don't want too much things on chat, you can just close the window after. See, it leaves the communications or chat log open after a message is sent. But close the window could be better because it closes the window after a message is sent. But this is the forward game settings tutorial. Once you figure out the tutorial, you can turn these off. I keep it on still. Controller vibration for my controller. This is a console, of course, video. PC players can still benefit if they still play controller. I just see I have a 0 pretty much. That is the game settings. Now we move on to the controls. The controls, I have a lot of change. X is still the confirm button, as you see on the confirm. Dash controls is personal preference, but I keep mine on R1. It's just like World. I just use R1. That's about it. Change functions. I do not swap the functionality of these buttons. I just don't use them. Uh, I just don't swap. It's just a regular World version. So I just don't have it. Do not swap. Directional button configurations. I have it on Type 3. Type 3 is pretty much like a world. Worlds where you can hold L1 to scroll the item bar. You can hold L1 and press square, circle, triangle, and X to change, instead of Type 1 where it gives you. Oh, never mind. Okay, it's still the same. You can hold L1 and use the buttons on your controller like to change your radio menu, which is very important. Now, for the hold confirm, I have this on default. It's just the same. It's just default. It just depends out. If you do a short, you don't have to hold the button as long to activate some, but I just keep it on default. Auto sheath. This is a huge one. Do not turn auto sheath on. I repeat, it's on by default, but please disable it because when you're trying to find a monster and your weapon is unsheathed and you're not attacking the monster for a while and just try and dodge the monster attacks, sometimes if you have auto sheath on, your character would just sheath the weapon automatically, and that's really annoying because if you sheath your weapon, and especially for long weapons like charged blade, heavy bowgun to sheath, you could probably get hit and get killed by these monsters. So I like to keep control, disable sheath, please. Directional controls on the controller is Type 2. This is the same I use for Monster Hunter, but most likely I will prefer to use for people to use Type 1. It's just a lot better, but I keep it on Type 2. It's basically the direction like the camera's facing when you're trying to land attacks. Like if you're trying to turn the switch X the other way, I have to really turn this way, turn like the other way. It's hard to explain, but basically if you turn the other way, if you attack, you have to use you got to use the directional buttons of where the camera is not facing. The first type, if the camera's facing, that's how the directions will be. You'll kind of figure it out, but as you see, tilting up moves the camera the direction the camera is facing. Tilting down moves the hunter towards the screen. But type 2, what I use, moves the hunter in the direction they are facing towards the screen and not the camera. So it gives me a little bit more freedom. This allows you to like change attacks like great swords, stuff like that. Could be the type 1 because this game is way more forgiving about landing your attacks with your weapons. So direction controls on that's keyboard. Expanded item controls. I keep this. I think type 3 is the best when it comes to controller because all you have to do, expanded item is actually this. This is the expanded item bar. As you see, if you hold L1 and R1 at the exact same time when you're on a secret or anything, it pulls up this expanded item bar where you can switch your weapons. All you do is let go of R1 and L1, and as you see, it will go to the thing on the item bar down there on the bottom right. It goes down on the bottom right, and you can see you change it. Just press square because I'll show you the setting later on that controls that. You switch to that particular item, so on your item bar. So it's very useful, and it's like I think it's the best setting. So R1, L1, Type 3, expanded item controls, best setting. This is the big one. Expanded item bar cursor speed. It's basically the speed of the item bar like this, pretty much. You don't want it too slow. If you're doing it, if you put slow, there's a Chabra coming. I'm sorry, I can't say his name, but if you look here, look how slow it is now. It's on slow. The cursor is way slower, but I recommend to do it on fast. The reason why you do it on fast because hunts can be really focused and really deadly. If you get hit by one of the harder monsters in the full game, like the way a high rank or master rank, if they do have in the full game monsters, they can really one-shot you. And having this fast trigger, look how fast that cursor speed is. So it'll be way more easier to scroll through this expanded item bar with the fast cursor speed. So I would recommend you use the fast speed so you can turn it, go fast. Like, oh, I need a large dung pods over here. Oh, I need a trap over here, and all that stuff. If you can't use the radio menu, if you haven't customized your radio menu. Stacking, I have it on display auto stacks. This is the slinger auto load I talked about literally 1 minute ago about the slinger. You pretty much like if I try to turn right here, it won't auto equip it because if I used to expand it and use auto load, pretty much when I let go, like I use a flash pod, it will automatically equip that flash pod, and I like the more freedom and control over my item bar, so all I have to do is press square to equip that item. So that's what that will control, slinger auto load, so I have that off. Item use controls, this is a huge one. Radio menu is very important to use if you want to be a good hunter in Monster Hunter. Radio menu is so important to get to your stuff so quickly, like heals, stamina, heals, traps, all this max potions, all this other important stuff. You want to have it on Type 2. Or Type 1 releases it, so if you're using the radio one in a Type 1, if you release the right stick, it will use the item, and that's really weird and annoying. So what I like to do is change it to Type 2, where you can press R3, the right stick, on whatever controller you're using, press the right stick, and you can use that item. It's way more forgiving, it's way more, feels way more immersive and better to use, instead of using Type 1, which is just a weird shit. So pretty much you can do that. So that's the first one. Second, on controls, while holding, I actually keep this on Type 1. This is all personal. This is a big one. Map zoom settings. You want to turn this off because this is actually really annoying. It enables adaptive triggers if you have it enabled. Shrink and detail the large map. If you put this on enable and go to your detailed map, it zooms out way too fast. As you see, look how fast it zooms in and zooms out. It's very annoying. Sometimes you just want to zoom just a little bit on the map. So what you want to do is turn this off, and when you go to the map, you can actually start zooming in way more we can actually have more control over the zoom in the map. So it's way better. So turn that off. Start position, I have it on save. It pretty much saves your cursor position on the map. So if I put my cursor all the way up here, it's going to save pretty much the kind of the exact same spot. Uh, Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. It just starts at your character. Open menu, I have this on type 1. Focus mode controls, I have it on 1. Don't have this on toggle. Hold is just way better. Do not do toggle. It's just weird. Uh, Advanced focus mode, you can change this if you want. It's personal kind of preference. If you turn it on, you'll get a activate mode, but I like to turn it off. Call secret, these are the big ones, like the huge big ones, these 4 right here. Call secret controls, I recommend type 3, because when you're type 3 is pretty much just holding circle. If you hold circle and you get on your mount, it's manual mode, pretty much. So if you're trying to chase a monster waypoint on the map where you're fighting the monster, it can be really annoying because your secret, every time you get on them, goes into auto move mode, which can be annoying. You kind of just want to press the button to go to auto move mode. So when you hold circle, you can get on your mount without having to worry about the auto move mode until you press the button to do the auto move mode, which is, of course, right there on the top when you move your secret. So I recommend have this on 3. Radial menu, this is personal preference, but I have it on auto move. This is when if you put the secret call on your radial menu, you'll do the secret auto move. So that's what that does. Type 2, I have it on type 2. It's pretty much personal preference for this button, but I like type 2 a little bit better. It just uses left stick to move the speed when determined. So if you're doing manual controls, if you just move your all the way up, it automatically moves the secret to like normal speed, which is pretty good. Of course, you can hold triangle to boost the speed and all that stuff. Secret only route. This is really important. It's when you like if I call the secret, he'll go to auto move mode. Like let's say if I set a waypoint, right? Let's put on this sleep herb over here. Now, what I just call the secret and don't use circle for the manual mode, I pretty much will get him going like this. Look at the map right now. You see the arrows on the map? Arrows on the map means it's in auto move mode. It's your secret. So if you actually tilt type 1 for the secret only route, all you do is tilt your left stick, walk away for a bit, and look at the map. Once the waypoint icons have a little green circle or just circles on your waypoint, that means the secret has now went into manual movement mode. This is really important to not try to more control over your secret in this game, because the default settings of your secret is really annoying to control your secret. I like to have control over my mount. That's how I feel. I like my control. I don't like a lot of these auto settings in this game. So that's pretty much what you have to do. I press up, see arrows on the map. I tilt a little bit, left stick, just move them around. A few seconds, goes into blue, circles on the map. That means the secret is now in auto move, manual movement mode. So way more freedom. 3 on this, it's all keyboard and mouse. So if you watch a keyboard and mouse player, go watch another video that I player that plays keyboard and mouse, because I don't know about that. Now that's it for the controls. You got camera here. Camera, this is all personal preference pretty much. You can set how fast you want it. Horizontal is pretty much normal gameplay. This is these two with L1 is when you're holding L2 in focus mode, and how fast it is. I pretty much have the same thing, just to level the sensitivities out. Sorry if my voice is breaking, but had a long day of work. Camera speed with weapon drawn, it doesn't. I turn this off. I don't use it. This is all pretty much kind of the same. Camera speed though is still 3. This is for aiming and focus mode with the sensitivities. I have the camera speed on 3. This is all kind of personal preference. Number 2 is camera version. I do not have this on. I don't have camera version on. Trajectory path, I don't. This is default. Advanced camera settings, have dead zone as 6. It's pretty much with dead zone for the minimum. you want to go down as much as you can without seeing your controller stick drift. A lot of controllers will stick drift, so I have mine at 6 right now. For maximum, I keep it at 20 because you can pretty much, it just has a better feeling to it. Response curve is still the same, 5 with the camera inertia 2. This is all personal preference. Uh, Camera zoom, this is the biggest one. So the default camera zoom in this game, sorry, he's in freaking auto mode. There's Doshiguma over there. I do not want to encounter them. Yeah.
The terrain here looks like a natural track.
You go over here, and pretty much the main game is 4. Look how close this camera is with the default setting. It's pretty close. But most people will do this instead. In Monster Hunter World, I have it on far distance. Pretty much go to 10, and as you see here, the camera is way farther in the game. As you see here, the camera's way far. You can see monster, bigger field of view, see monsters way better. But also you can do something else too. The perfect one it could be is like 6 to 8. Because on 7, you'll actually make the monsters way more bigger looking than they are at 10 FOV. But still, for me, I still like to use FOV, but around 6 to 8 is pretty much the sweet spot for the camera distance if you want monsters to look a little bit bigger, which is pretty cool. More bigger to your hunter. But I usually have mine at 10. But I think 6 to 8 is the perfect sweet spot if you want to make monsters a little bit bigger on your screen. Pan, just turn your camera. Do not turn this. Just keep it at 1. Keep it centered. It's no point. Don't try it. Don't do pan. Camera shake, I have this on 1. This will reduce that motion sickness some a lot of people have. Camera sway, I have it on 2. Just a little bit of sway. Focus camera, this is actually a really big one. A lot of people starting out in Wilds will get that. Like Monster Hunter World, I have this off. Pretty much in the Wilds, people starting out, you'll get this thing where the camera just locks onto the monster, and camera locks on it, and you're trying to fight, trying to move your camera, and it just stays locked on the monster, which is really annoying. This controls that. As you see, locks the camera onto a target monster and keeps it in view. I have this disabled because I do not want to get locked. I'm a free camera movement guy type of player. I like to move my camera without. Sometimes when you're in a hunt, that camera just locks onto a monster and you can't move your camera around, and it's really, really annoying. So I like to keep that off. It's pretty much the same thing as I play in World. So keep this off. If you really want that target camera to not lock on the monster. Some people like to use it. It's to your preference. Camera adjustment to the terrain, I keep that just on. Wide camera correction, I keep this on 5. Lateral camera and mount it, I keep these off. It says adjust the camera degree, or it'll keep it at least moving sideways. I keep this too. This will reduce 1. This will reduce motion sickness. Because sometimes after work I get a little tired. I get a little motion sickness a little bit easy. But these 2 ones just makes me like the game way better, more smooth. Yeah, more smoother. Auto centering normal, I have this on disabled. This is a big one. Auto centering mounted, I keep this on disabled. Most people will have this enabled, but let's see if you're trying to fight a monster. Let's say that Doshiguma over there. So if I try to fight that monster and I'm trying to get on my secret, maybe to do like a mount or something like that, it's going to auto center that way. So if I face this way and I turn on this, right, and I go this way, watch. The secret will kind of auto center on the secret. This can be really annoying. I like to keep my camera more controlled, so I keep it off. So pretty much when you get on the secret, the camera stays in that exact position when you get on the secret, which gives more control over my secret. So it really helps. I keep that disabled. The wall climb, I keep this on reset for now, but most likely when I'm climbing, I'll just keep it on reset. It doesn't matter. Radical direction, this is a weird one, but I keep mine on regular type 2. There's a lot of ways. If you read them, you'll get a better understanding. The reticle aims in the same direction, facing same camera, same angle, but I keep mine on 2. The reticle aims in the same direction and same angle the camera's facing regardless of the hunter orientation. I like this a lot better. Aim assist is personal preference. Aim assist helps you when you're hovering over a monster to see it a lot better, but I keep mine disabled just to have more freedom moving on my camera. I'll be able to have more freedom over the camera. Target control type. This is actually the same as world. As you see, type 3 is the same as world, where I press the L1 button once and Monster Hunter World once, it actually centers and targets. That's the camera. If you turn off the focus camera right here, you'll pretty much just get target camera. The target camera is where you just press one button, which is one of these. If you're facing the target, but I like type 3 because when you're fighting a monster and just tap L1, the camera will always center on the monster whatever your camera's at. So it's really good. Camera direction. So I recommend type 3. For camera reset, I have it on direction of L. It's the same thing pretty much. Camera reset vertical is level pretty much. Level of reset. If you want to reset the camera, it resets the camera to aim the direction the left stick is tilted. Target camera vertical. If you press L1 on target camera, it will L1 for target camera. It will level out the horizon of the layout of the terrain and the target monster all leveled. So it's really useful to really see where the monster's really at. Target filtering, this is really important. It's set to default, large monsters only. I like to have it on large monsters only because sometimes when you're trying to lock on to certain monsters in this game, large monsters, and sometimes you'll just lock on to small monsters. It was default in Monster Hunter World, but they have a default in this game, so keep it on that. Target objective selection, if you have it on link, targeting or untargeted also sets or removes your objective. That's kind of be annoying. So if you're targeting a monster, I have it on this default. Targeting a monster also sets your objective, but your objective is not moved when the monster is untargeted. So I like to keep that on. But you can have a do not link where it does not affect your objective, but I like to keep it on only link when targeting. Monster sighting camera. This can be a little annoying. When you first sight the monster, you'll just zoom in like Monster Hunter World. Zooms into the monster and just locks the camera to the monster for a few seconds when you first spot one. And that can be a little bit annoying. So I keep it on disabled for now. But maybe on when the full game comes out, when new monsters come out and face those new monsters, you probably want to keep this on just to see the monster in his all glory. So that's pretty much all for the main settings, but we'll show the optional settings. HR output, I keep it on automatically enabled, but sometimes you may want to turn this off if you want. It depends if your TV or your monitor will support HDR, of course. Brightness, I keep mine on 4. It depends on what TV or monitor you have on the brightness. Because on my BenQ monitor here, you can also set the brightness on the monitor as well. 120 hertz on my PS5, of course. This is PS5. I keep it on 120 hertz. Sometimes you will drop 60 frames per second right now in this game on the beta for fighting monsters and stuff like that. But in cutscenes, you actually always get 120 FPS, which is cool, awesome for cutscenes because it's very crisp. Graphics, turn off. Please turn off motion blur. There's no point in doing this. It was just make the game a lot sharper. There's no point in having motion blur. The game's really not that fast enough for motion blur. Motion blur is used for like fast games, like racing games and stuff like that. Just turn this off, please. I have this all down just because you all can hear this video. But most likely, I'll have my voice volume to like 70. Have these both 85. Voice is like 70. BGM is maxed out. This is maxed out. Headphones, because I'm using headphones. You can do speakers, soundbar, night mode, all that stuff. Mono audio. Pretty much can play right, left speakers to play the same audio. I keep that off. Built-in speaker for my controller. Sometimes it'll mix sounds. I just turn that off. It just can be annoying. Voice chat, you can push to talk. But that's a keyboard only function, so I keep this on just for the but you can also change the voice chat volume here. Uh, if you can have any voice you want, like you can make players way more quieter. You can also prioritize voice chat as well. You can prioritize your league members in your party, or you can prioritize the quest members. But you probably want to put it on link members because that's really the main friends you'll play with. Automatically, it's just the league member voice chat when joining the link party. I might keep that on. You can set your feline languages. Feline language is just meow, meow, all that other stuff from Monster Hunter World. You can set the voice one. I think that's for English. I'm pretty sure. All English. English is pretty cool for your pilot going into the game. I might use it for the first playthrough because, you know, in Monster Hunter World, I think there's going to add the Japan version of the Palago saying. Maybe. Probably not. I don't know. And finally got accessibility. You can change anything. You can change it like use recommended settings. You can change this motion sickness reduction. You can change all this, but yeah. And for this, you can change this to anything you want. If you go to what is this? You can press sub menu, reset to all default. Keyboard customization. You can change all this for your keyboard, and you can also change. Press triangle, you can actually edit all your tabs. It's like Monster Hunter Rise at Sunbreak where you get to change and sort out your stuff. So you can put some things first, like items and equipment, always have that first. You can put info, quests, or you can put favorites menu to up first. Or you can do communication. You can change them around pretty much. See, you can change them around if you want what you will like. You can do sub menu. You can reset tablets. You can edit your widgets. Uh, if you want, like I said, you can show your weekly members, your statuses on your weapons, which I like to have on. You can hide everything. You can have it on default, which I have. Uh, if you want, so I just have that on default. Customary menu, you can change all this if you want. Uh, I don't really can't really show you this because it's all keyboard as you see here. I don't know, so see your equipment info, all that. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's it for the Boy Down Jaws. That is the full, complete setting guide to the beta. I know a lot of players are coming into this game, and the settings are very confusing. There's so much menu choices and stuff like that. Like, wow, there's just too much. But I wish I kind of added just a little bit more menu settings. They might add some more in the full game. So that's pretty much, there's a lot of, when you just open this settings menu, you'll see all these settings and be like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to change? Or what am I supposed to do? But this guide will give you a full detail of all the players, PC, Xbox players that are now coming into the beta. I hope this video, and or PlayStation players as well, to really help you all out. This is basically controller settings, so if you're trying to find a keyboard player, you have to find another one elsewhere. But this has been Monster Hunter Wilds full complete beta settings guide to Monster Hunter Wilds to make this game way more better looking, way better, way more fluid, way more less motion sickness, more control over your palicos, damage numbers, secret, all that. So subscribe button if you want to. And this has been your boy Now Jaws. I'll see you all on the hunt. And yeah, peace the freak out.